Hello YouTube, this is Tammy Pie and I'm back with another SKT deep dive video. This is video 11 of 12 and I also included in the playlist my unboxing of the second printing of the Revelation edition. So if you want to look at that, it'll be in the playlist so you can find it easily. I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cards. I think 15 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 15 cards. Because I want to make the last video maybe talking about the Kabbalah a little bit, talking about I Ching a little bit more, and kind of the overall direction of this deck. I'm going to go back to the little free book, where is it? Hang on just a second. The medium white book, which is for the one I have here is for the Vetruvian edition. Because I want to spend a little time with Vetruvian next to the Revelation. The Vetruvian was the more popular. For a while, it was very popular. People were paying big money to get it online in the secondhand market. And yeah. So we are going to look at, and I'm going to show you both versions. Well, two versions. I'm going to show you Vetruvian and I'm going to show you Revelation, because in some cases they changed a great deal. Okay, and I had to like get into my decks and rearrange them and everything because I use the deck all the time. So it's getting to be where this the Revelation edition, where I've been taking all my cards from, I kind of had it in order so that I could see which cards I'd already done. Not working for me because I use the deck. That's my deck. Okay, so we have 4 remaining majors. And this is the one that changed the most, actually. I could probably show you the first edition of this, but here's Vetruvian and here is Revelation. And this one's really beautiful. I love what she did in the end. But I also like the first edition better than I like this one. There are reasons for her changing it, but the Emperor, yeah. And I'm not going to do a whole bunch of books and maps stuff because a lot of this stuff is, some of these are the more obvious cards, which is probably why they're the ones that are left. You know, Emperor, he's the guy that rules everything. He's top of the deck. And here he is Solomon or David. I always wonder if those two are the same thing. Anyway, not super up on my biblical studies, but you know how it goes. Okay, here is the Hierophant, the Holy See, what's she called? Master of the Arcanes. We got elephants. Here you have a Buddha. We got the Taurus. And I am going to go through this a little more. I just want to show you the cards that we're working with. Here we have the Force. Not a huge amount of change, although she did add in some stuff. The Outlaw. And there's those emanating rays that go into death and temperance and all that. For minors, we have the Discerning One. The Politic. There is a little bit of conversation about this one. The Contender, if you listen to T. Susan Chang's tarot podcast, she did the Five of Wands this week. The Grotesque, which is the Five of Cups. That is also an interesting story. Here's Kuan Yin. The Dark Horse. I love both these cards. The Corruptor. And I actually like it a little better in the Vetruvian, if I'm honest. The Gardener. The Sharpshooter. I love both these. This one for the story, but this one for the speed. Doesn't that look like everything's coming right now? The Defector. And if you know, eventually, if you use this deck often enough, and you know, probably the first 10 or 12 times you use them, you begin to connect these, the journeyman. I really like the runes on her face. But this costume is great. You begin to really connect the titles of the cards, the spirit, to the, you know, the regular number and suit that we generally consider the cards. And this is one that changed from the Malaise to the Pugilist. And it's worth looking these things up. The Malaise is like sick and tired, but mostly tired, mostly exhausted, because you've been through the wars, right? Whereas the Pugilist, that's, I believe the Google search is like a boxer, someone who keeps fighting, keeps going, keeps on keeping on, even though they've been through the wars. And most of these are super obvious. You know, the Corruptor as the Seven of Cups. If you think about it, the people who are going to be coming to look at this have a copy of Spirit Keepers because they are tarot people. I don't think there's anybody out there who just has a copy of Spirit Keepers and isn't a tarot reader. There may be people who have copies of it that are not super experienced yet, and that's fine. Like I say over and over again, it isn't that hard to play with a deck. It isn't that hard to do 1 or 2 or 3 card draws. The hard part is getting to know all the different stuff. And honestly, that's the hard part about all tarot. And tarot is really onion skin learning. So you learn a little bit, wait a few days. Learn a little bit, wait a few days. Get burnt out, wait a couple weeks. Come back, and here we are again. Okay? So I'm going to face the camera down, and let's talk about this a little more. Alrighty then. So here we have the 3 different versions of the Emperor. And I loved this one. So when she changed it to this one, I was kind of disappointed. So that is in part why I kept this deck, even though I probably would have kept it anyway, because it's kind of a rarity. This is, okay, so the actual name of this king, I am going to add in some Books of Maps stuff, because this is kind of a good story too. This is Memlek. This is actually Solomon's son. So I'll put the applicable Book of Maps story in there for you. But of course the Emperor is Aries. The trigram is for fire, and because it's one of the zodiacal majors, it is worth 12 in card counting. I think I might do a card counting spread at the end of this if I have time, because it's Wednesday, and sometimes on Wednesday I get a little more time to myself. And it is kind of interesting to watch that whole card counting thing. And also if I can figure out a way to have enough space to actually show it to you guys. Oh, you know what? No, we can't do it like that. Well, maybe we can. We might be able to do it with tiles, which would be super convenient. I'm gonna embark on that one. Okay, so, and that's really the only one that I wanted to show you in the first edition, because really the first and second edition, there were not huge changes in a lot of these cards, right? It was mostly about color and just kind of getting them to work. Because she was learning as she was going, just like many of us do. So I guess for the majors, we can still do some Book of Maps stuff. But I wanted to look more at the medium white book, because this is it's available free. It's not expensive to get printed, and it really does have a lot of the good stuff in it. So the Hierophant here, I'll put some stuff from the Book of Maps, but we've got this Buddha who's got his hand up. Now the hand in the Vetruvian edition that's beneficence, right? This is the Pope saying, you're safe, you're here, come on in, all are welcome, yada yada yada. The Spirit will save you. You have the rays of light here are emanating from this star right here, so that's interesting. Let's see, the Holy See is kind of in line both with the priestess and the erudite. These are three things where learning is happening. So with the priestess, that's the learning that's inside of you. That's the learning you've got to have. It is sacred mysteries. It's secrets kept. Whereas this one, and with the erudite, you're off on a journey. You're going looking for that all important educational situation, those educational books, those moments alone when you really get the download from Spirit. But here we're talking about a learning experience where people get together in front of a guru or a really smart teacher who knows all there is to do and can give you the shortcuts to all those things, right? So this is an important moment in the first septenary. It is the card for Taurus. We got our bull. It is the trigram for mountain. Okay, so if you think about going to the mountain to watch Jesus talk, or going to the mountain to visit the guru, however you want to see that is fine. The way Benebell meant for these cards to work is so that everyone is included, because the whole world, all of us, have the same insides and outsides if we just let it be that way, right? And it's worth 12 in card counting because it is zodiacal, okay? I've always kind of liked this strength card, the Force, because it almost looks like she's tickling him, or like when you get a beloved animal to take its medicine by giving it a treat. It's like, oh, I don't think I want to do this, but also that treat is delicious. We have our Kundalini snake back from the Magus, okay? He is coming out of her crown chakra and her, I think it's sacral chakra. This is the north node. So this is the great thing that you can do. You have the ability, and this is the great work, right? So you have the ability to tame the great work. Your self-control has brought you here, and of course, this is the astrological, or the constellation of Leo. What else do we have here? Okay, so it's the Leo card. This is one of the Akasha ones, so you would double whatever other trigram you have. So if you have mountain, it would be mountain above mountain. Okay. And it's astrological, so it's worth 12 in card counting. What else do we want to say? This is the maiden taming the lion, and no matter how you want to look at it, I know everybody talks about self-control, but this is also woman being the weaker of body, finding a way to overcome the masculine stronger of body. And that's all I'm going to say about that. If you want to get into it, we can have a conversation maybe over Instagram private messages. I don't want to get into fights about it. But, I mean, in martial arts, we learn to be realistic. You know, can you beat this big, monstrous man who's going to attack you because they're hungry? Not always. No matter what you know, if they catch you by surprise and they're crazy enough and they're strong enough, the weaker woman cannot overcome that. But you learn in martial arts not to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay, so here's the Outlaw. He's got the rays shining out. He's also got the Kundalini guy coming down. We got some Latin, which I forget. Do the right thing by God. I don't know. The roses and lilies. We're looking at the, this is the water card. Okay, so here you got your water symbol. And of course the trigram is for water. Would have to be, right? This is worth 3 in card counting because there are 3 of these elemental cards in the major arcana. And this is also like a really interesting moment in the second septenary. It's see over here where she's got the butterfly coming up right out of the chrysalis. It is I'll put some stuff from the Book of Maps in here so you can read it, but it's a really interesting way that we have come to believe this card means one thing when originally it meant something else. And it's great. I love that language changes. I love that tarot changes over time. And I think that all of these things can be true because, I I don't know if you've been watching Tom Benjamin, but he released a really good video about being instinctive about your cards. Have a basis, know your basics, but be instinctive. Let your inner knowing come out. And this moment in the Hanged Man is kind of one of those situations. Okay, here we are at the Two of Scepters, the Discerning One. So I have here the 2 and the 3 of Scepters. And the reason for that is, but I didn't put them in any of the other groups of cards that I was talking about. These 2 cards for me are in regular RWS decks, some of the more difficult to go between. You know, people go, well, what's the difference between the 2 and the 3? There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of difference. And of course, those of you who have gone through, you know, deck after deck after deck, you begin to see that there really is a big difference. The Discerning One, determine your boundaries and define the scope of your own dominion. Okay? So this is a guy standing there looking out at the ocean, right? So it is also that moment right here where these 2 Vajras are mixing together. Because what happens when you look out there and see, okay, this is what we're going to use. This is how we're going to do it. This is what we're going to, our plan is this. There's also that moment where you go, okay, that's enough. Let's go. Right? I just thought that was interesting. Almost forgot. This is Mars in Aries. So this is the first card that you start with when you do your deck and walk, because it's like, I think end of March or beginning of April. It's the boom. It's the first buds of spring, right? So there's your Aries right there, and here this is Thunder. And it's worth 2 because it's a 2 card. Okay, I think I gotta put some Book of Maps stuff in this one too. God doggone it. I keep thinking I'll just use this smaller book because it's easier to get and it's easier to digest. And it does tell you a bunch of the stuff. You know, these priests here in the Politic are gathered together to make something happen. They have all come together in this place to, let's call it a spell, to work a spell, to create change. And that is a big one in 3s, right? The creation process. Is this, I want to say this is what? No, this is fire too. This is fire. Okay. It's worth a 3, and it is the Sun in Aries. Okay, so this is Aries, right in the middle of Aries, when the Aries people are the most Aries, even though real sky. I keep in my deck and stroll, in my Instagram, I keep, because, you know, except for in the real sky, there's actually this. However, we've, you know, had a mass hypnotism, so we all follow Western astrology, whether we like it or not. Okay. The Contender. And again, good story here. This is a whole Greek thing. First decan of Leo. This is Jupiter in Leo. The 4 would be there, right? So what ends up happening when you do the deck and walk is you get 3 cards from one element, and then 3 cards from the next element, and 3 cards from the next element. So that's why the beginning part of the wands is Aries, and then the next fire sign is Leo, which is in August, right? Okay, so 5 of Scepters is Leo, or Jupiter in Leo. Okay. And this is, I mean, you all know what Five of Scepters is. It's the can't build the tent. It's the everybody's arguing over something, right? And that's kind of, this is the Greek people in the Senate. Politics is supposed to be contentious. You're supposed to have discussions, not, I'm going to have it my way or everyone gets to starve. Meh. Okay? But what we have here are a bunch of people holding the different staffs. This one even holding it against the snake. And we're all looking at from different perspectives. And we maybe are fighting, but we also can all get together here. No one person is going to win if we're all going in different directions. Did I say Leo? Yeah, Jupiter in Leo, the fire, because fire sign, and it's worth 5 because it's a 5 card. Okay, the Grotesque, the 5 of Cups. This is where, we've got the 2 cups are standing up, but he doesn't see them. He is, okay, this could be Persephone walking down into Hades. This, I think, is supposed to be some pomegranate seeds that are being eaten. I'm not sure. And the hope, which is behind them, they're not seeing, right? But then she adds this whole situation in here. It is Mars in Virgo? Mars in Virgo? No, Mars in Scorpio, sorry. You got to admit, those 2 symbols look alike. And this, I believe, is water. And it's worth 5 because it's a 5 card. All right, the Dark Horse. What's the difference between the Dark Horse and the Contender? Let's look at them for a second. She does add in a little bit of Marseille every once in a while, right? And that is because Thoth has a little bit of Marseille in it. I was watching somebody go through some cards in the Maria, because I got the Maria secondhand. Yay me. And they were like, well, this is just basically a pip deck. Kinda, yeah. But we've got like this guy up on the hill protecting himself, right? So this is Mars in Leo. And these guys are all, once again, they're holding, this is a bunch of guys that has come against this one guy who has the upper ground, right? Can he win? He's only one guy. Maybe he can. This is fire, and this is worth 7 because it's a 7 card. Here we have the Corruptor, which is Venus in Scorpio. Okay, and this is the 7 what do you call them? The 7 sins, or the seven deadly sins, which is being a pig, being jealous, being proud, sloth, avarice, all the bad stuff. Don't do all the bad stuff, basically, is what you're learning in this. And here's that lighthouse again. Some of these things, little images show up again and again, but you can kind of remember them. Like this I think is in the Lovers card. I'm not sure. Or it might be in Death. Can't remember. Okay, so you're taking a good look at yourself, right? And then this here, what was that? This is it is a it's like an epic space situation that happened. I'll try and find it for you. I'll put Book of Maps stuff for this one in it too. Oh my God, I'm terrible. Okay, this is of course water, and it's worth 7 because it's a 7. here we have the gardener. And to me, this is obvious, right? In the RWS decks, you got the guy who's kind of leaning on his shovel and going, what now, right? And in part, I think and I think the Thoth keyword for it is futility or something like that. The person that I was watching go through the cards didn't relate to that either. But what it is sometimes you plant stuff and it doesn't grow. And what you have to do is learn from that. And that means the next time you plant stuff, you have better soil, you use better seeds, you don't put too much water in it. You learn from this. And that's what the 7 of Orbs is all about. It's about learning from your mistakes and doing better the next time. And so we have Saturn in Taurus here. This is the trigram for Earth, and it is, of course, we're 7 in card counting because it's a 7. And then we come to the Sharpshooter. Okay, so here is this is the wings that I was looking for in that other card. This is Achilles with Medusa on his shield. So these cards are, every single one of them, encoded to be talismans for good. There's nothing evil about this deck. It's all about good, doing good, and being better, right? So it is Mercury in Capricorn. Perfect. This is, I want to say this is Lake. Hang on, let me make sure. Nope, it's Thunder. And it's worth 8 in card counting because it's an 8 card. All right, here we have the Defector, which, if you think about it, makes sense, right? You got your RWS guy cruising on the mountain, and this actually kind of looks like the Pugilist or the Malaise. Looks like the same person a little bit. Okay, so you got your god Thoth, got a mermaid here, and in the moon here is the great work. Sometimes the great work is a little farther off than you thought, right? So kind of like the gardener, you've done all this stuff, you stacked it all up, you thought it was all perfect, but it wasn't. So you got to walk away. And I have many times gotten this. I want to say this is mountain. Watch me be wrong again. Yep, wrong again. It's wind. So the trigram is wind, and it is worth 8 in card counting. I'm not even going to say that one's the mountain one. Okay. 8 of Orbs, the Journeyman. Yeah, it is. It looks like a mountain, doesn't it? So the Journeyman, and again, this is kind of obvious. Not entirely obvious, but kind of obvious that, the journeyman is kind of the middle guy. He's the one that works and works and works and works, and until his process is perfect. So I'm looking for it in the thing here. Okay. And conveniently, all right. Let's see if it says, does it give us the, I don't think it does, but this is the antler one. This is Kinaz, which, all right, I will look up the runes for you and list them in the editing process. I promise you I will do that for you. Okay. The Decan is the sun in Virgo. This is the mountain, and it's worth 8 in card counting because it's an 8 card. I think this is Hecate. I'm not sure, but I think it is. But it's interesting that she changed this a little bit. And honestly, I think she changed it because she was adding in more places and characters to the cards. But Nine of Scepters, it's a fire card. Yeah, definitely a fire card. It is the moon in Sagittarius, and it's worth 9 because it is a 9 card. And I'm gonna leave it there because I do want to do a card counting reading, but I got to turn on the air conditioning for a little while because damn, it's hot. All right, I might have to make this go up a little bit in a little while, but for now we're gonna work with this. I've already shuffled. This is a reading for a friend of mine, and so basically we shuffle a bunch of times until we feel we're done, to make sure that the cards are very much mixed up. Quite often you will get, especially when reading for the public, people that are like, I don't have a question, I don't know. Sometimes not. Sometimes they really do know exactly what they want. But yeah, so this is one way that you can say, okay, well, let's choose your significator. So in this case, I have a Gemini. My friend is a Gemini, and she is I'm gonna say she's 9 of Swords. Yeah, 9 of Swords, because I believe her birthday is a little bit earlier than mine, and mine's 10 of Swords. So we'll call her significator the 9 of Swords, okay? Which is the second decan of Gemini. And you can, I could use the Queen of Swords. I could use the Lovers. I could use any one of the Fools. But I'm going to use the 9 of Swords for this person. I think it suits her personality too. Okay, so we're going to open the 4 worlds. And how we do that is from fire to air, from fire to water, and from air to earth. Okay, so they didn't split evenly, but you know that happens too. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for, where is her significator? Where is the 9 of Swords? Is it in the pile of fire, water, air, or earth? Let's see. Emperor. Up. And it's... So it's not in fire. Not in water. Nine of Swords. Okay, so here we have it. It's the Haunt, 9 of Swords. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first cards to the back of this pile. Okay? So since I'm doing this reading, and it was in the pile of air, so this reading is going to have to do with her contentious thoughts, what is going on in her head around planning, around her mental state, around her maybe it can be conversations she's having with other people about things she has to solve, planning, things like that. Okay, so we are going to start the count with the first card because this card is included in the reading. Since this is a 9 card, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the next card, and how I'm going to do this is I'm going to write it down because I'm probably going to have to rearrange what you see, but I will keep counting and I'll try and keep recording everything that I do. Okay. Is it on? Okay. So I'm going to try and move these around so that they're kind of in a circle on my table because that's how they're supposed to be. And then I'm going to move the chosen cards in because they'll be easier for you to see. Okay, so because this is a 5, we now go 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got the Archangel of Mysteries. How much is that one worth, you might ask? Easy to find because they're right there on the cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Archangel of Healing. Wow, interesting. Okay. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. The Conservator. And there's going to be 4 more after that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're back at the first card, which is how you end this reading. Okay. Now this almost never happens. Usually you get like this be a 7. So this would be your 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you pull more cards in. Okay. But how we're going to do this is we are going to take each of these cards as they came up and use them as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 card reading. Okay. So, and I am going to gather up the rest of the cards in order because if you wanted to, you could then do another reading with the cards that did not show up. Of course, I'm not going to do that because it takes too long. Okay. So this actually came out much easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have to use tiles. I thought it was going to be like tricky, but it actually isn't. So here we have our 9 of Swords person. And you could, this is what I used as her significator, but you could also say that she is up night. She's got like a situation that she's worried about here. And in part, some of that is because she doesn't know where to go for help. She's not a wealthy person, but she's got some stuff that she needs to take care of that's keeping her up. And she's not sure where to go next. Interesting that the archangels show up here right after that. So we've got the angel who illuminates shadow, which is, it's very interesting because she lives in New Mexico, this person. And it may just be that she's going to have to go back to family in Mexico to find some solutions here. But they are certainly willing to help and actually might have the answers that she needs. And there is actually, I would say that there is a medical person too who has some really important information for her. So this is like really overarching financial and medical situations that she's working on. And the Four of Orbs here at the end, it's not going to be exactly what you're looking for, maybe, but it is enough that this is going to work out. And it's not going to be a royal palace, but it will be enough so that this situation that you are worried about, and I think I kind of know what it is she's worried about, is going to be solved in such a way that everything that you need to get done is going to happen like in a small place, in a conservative place like this. I think what I want to do is look at this bottom card here. Okay, so this is the necromancer. This is the moon. So I think maybe she's worried that future situations are not going to pan out well, and she doesn't trust the people that she's already set up to do this. But I think personally that it all balances out in the end. I do think that there are possibly two like elders, somebody there in Mexico and somebody who is a doctor or healer of some kind, who both have really good solutions to the problems that she's looking for. And what else can I say about this? Should we do a little bit of I Ching here? Let's do a little bit of I Ching. And how I'm going to do the I Ching is I'm going to take out these 3 cards, use this as the first trigram and this as the second. Okay? So hang on a second while I get my I Ching book out, and we'll talk about this a little more. Okay, so we've got, fortunately, everything is in one page. So we have the trigram Heaven, which is the lower trigram. Is it Heaven? Heaven, yeah. And the trigram Mountain, which is the upper trigram. So we're going to go Heaven to Mountain is hexagram 26. Cultivate the Supreme. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Hang on a second, let me find it. So I always find this interesting, the way she's managed to work the I Ching into the artwork, and how the tarot cards themselves very often have a similar meaning to the reading. So this would be 9 of Swords, 4 of Pentacles. So up at night, worrying, and here's Hecate, she's going to lead you through, right? And the Conservator, which is holding on tight, right? Gotta hold on tight. So cultivate the Supreme. You hold great power and potential, but restraint is necessary to temper the power and keep it under control. The mountain visible above heaven is emblematic of your great power. Invest that power in a way that advances humankind. A mountain need not move or speak to awe. Nothing is more awe-inspiring than self-control. At hand is how you can tame the great power and potential. When you are accomplished, you bear the burden of using those accomplishments to give back. Power must be controlled by yielding that power to the most underprivileged. Limitations must be imposed upon you to keep you on that noble path. Study the words and deeds of the great and wise before you. That way you can build and develop the great and wise before you. That way you can build and develop your virtue. Isn't that interesting? So again, this reiterates where I was saying there are some people that she needs to see. She might have to go seek them out. Do not eat meals from home. Officers of the nation should not accept offers of benefit from their nation. Do not take from your own people. Decline enrichment from those who you are serving. So what she's kind of saying here, I think, or what the wisdom, the Confucian wisdom is saying, is it may be that you could benefit by taking something from this, but that's not what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is create a situation that solves a problem for an outside interest. So don't be eating the seeds that you need to plant. It is auspicious to cross the great stream, a promising omen for the undertaking, advantageous for you to proceed on the endeavor. So it's saying, yes, this thing that you're worried about, this thing that you are trying to solve is solvable. And you may think that there's nobody to talk to about this, but there is. There's a couple really important people that you may have to go and find. And when you find them, remember that wisdom isn't for you, it's to solve the problem. Okay? So that's it for me for today, and thank you so much for coming.